You already know you're not living at your maximum. You feel it. That hollow feeling at the end of a day where you did just enough to get by, where you told yourself, I'll go harder tomorrow, and tomorrow came, and you didn't. You want to know why? Because you have got nothing to pull from. You have built no vault, no reservoir, no mental armor. When life punches you in the throat, and it will, it always does, you reach inside yourself for something to fight back with. And there's nothing there, just excuses, just memories of the times you quit, just a highlight reel of your own cowardice. Most people are the sum of their surrenders, not their struggles, their surrenders. That stops today, because today I'm going to hand you one of the most powerful weapons your mind can ever possess. David Goggins calls it the cookie jar, but most of you have never truly used it. You've heard the concept, you nodded along, and then you went back to being soft. Not anymore. Let me paint you a picture of where most people live. It's 4:47 in the morning. Your alarm goes off. Your body, which has been conditioned by years of mediocrity, sends you a very clear signal: stay down. Your brain starts its negotiation. You worked hard yesterday. One more hour won't hurt. You deserve rest. And you listen, because that voice sounds reasonable. It sounds logical. It sounds like self-care. What it actually is your internal governor. It's a biological kill switch, a built-in limiter that exists to stop you from becoming dangerous to yourself. But here's the thing nobody tells you: that governor fires at about 40% of your actual capacity. 40%. You are living your entire life on less than half of what you are actually capable of. You think hard work is what you've been doing. Grinding out a full day, hitting the gym 3 days a week, reading a personal development book before bed. That's not hard work. That's participation. That's showing up. There's a universe of difference between showing up and going to war with yourself every single day. Real hard work has a smell to it. It smells like the inside of a gym at 4 a.m. when you're the only one there and you're exhausted and you don't know why you're doing this, except that some part of you, some tiny, savage, unbroken part, refuses to fold. Real hard work looks like a man on his ninth set when his hands are ripped open and he's talking himself out of quitting out loud in an empty room to nobody. Real hard work is uncomfortable, profoundly, persistently uncomfortable. And you've been running from that discomfort your entire life. You've dressed it up as balance. You've called it recovery. You framed your retreat as wisdom. It's not wisdom. It's fear wearing a blazer. And the worst part, every time you fold, every time you tap out early, every time you choose the comfortable option, your brain files it. Your subconscious mind is the most efficient record keeper that exists. It catalogs every moment of weakness. Every time you hit mile 2 of a planned 4-mile run and tell yourself that's good enough, filed. Every time you stay silent in a meeting because confrontation scares you, filed. Every time you skip a hard thing because you're tired, filed. And then on the day you need to be unbreakable, on the day life comes for you with everything it's got, your brain runs that file and it shows you who you've been, not who you want to be, who you've been. That's why people crack, not because they're weak genetically, not because they lack talent, but because they have built a vault of failures and called it a life. Now here's where everything changes. Because that same mechanism, that brain that's been filing every retreat, can be retrained deliberately, systematically, with the same efficiency it used to document your failure. It can document your victories. That's the cookie jar. The cookie jar is not a motivational concept. It is not a vision board. It is not positive self-talk. It is a tactical mental weapon, a vault you construct over time, filled with every difficult thing you have ever done, every moment where you hit the wall and kept going. Every time you were afraid and did it anyway. Every time you chose hard over soft, growth over comfort, discipline over desire. You don't build the cookie jar on the day you need it. You build it across 1,000 ordinary days. But here's what most people miss. Here's the failure point in how this concept gets applied. People hear cookie jar and they start mentally cataloging the big moments, the marathon, the promotion, the time they overcame something dramatic. And those go in the jar. And then the jar sits half empty. The real cookies, they're in the small stuff. They're in the moments that didn't feel like victories at the time. The morning you dragged yourself out of bed when every cell in your body screamed no. The conversation you had where you told the truth instead of what was convenient. The workout you finished badly, but you finished. The book you read when Netflix was right there. The cold shower you took when a hot one was an option. The meal you didn't eat, the drink you passed on. The extra mile you ran alone in the dark with nobody watching and nobody counting. Those are your cookies, and they're more powerful than any trophy because they are verified proof that you are capable of suffering for your own growth. Now, how do you build this thing properly? Step 1, the accountability mirror. Before you can fill the jar, you have to stand in front of a mirror, a real one or the one in your mind, and get brutally honest about what's actually there right now. Not what you wish was there, not what you tell your friends, what is actually there. Are you physically where you said you'd be 6 months ago? Are you financially where you committed to being? Are you treating the people in your life the way you've promised yourself you would? Look at that person without armor. Call out what you see. That confrontation is the beginning of filling the jar, because the moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you start building something real. Step 2, callous the mind intentionally. You don't wait for hard things to happen to you. You go find them. You go get uncomfortable on purpose every single day. Not because you're a masochist, because you are training your brain to recognize that discomfort does not equal danger. Most humans have conflated being uncomfortable with being in danger. They're not the same thing. One is a signal, the other is a threat. When you deliberately seek discomfort, cold water, hard workouts, difficult conversations, late nights on work that matters, you are teaching your nervous system that you can survive the feeling, that you can function inside the fire, that the heat doesn't stop you, it forges you. Every time you do that and survive, cookie in the jar. Step 3, taking souls. This one is for when you are deep in the suck, when you are in the middle of something that is trying to break you. Maybe it's a brutal week. Maybe it's a professional setback. Maybe it's a physical challenge that's eating you alive. This is when you shift the frame. You stop trying to get through it and you start trying to exceed it. You make it your mission to outwork, outsuffer, outlast whatever or whoever is in front of you. You take their soul. You grind past the point where they expected you to stop. You smile in the middle of the misery, not because it's easy, not because it doesn't hurt, but because you have decided to own this moment instead of surviving it. That shift from victim to savage is the most important shift a human being can make, and you can make it at any moment. It's a choice, not a feeling, a choice. You are never as tired as you think. You are never as broken as you feel. The governor lies to you every single time. Step 4, access the jar when you need it. Here's the piece that doesn't get talked about enough. The jar is useless if you don't open it. When you are in a moment of crisis, when your mind is shutting down and your body is begging you to stop, you reach in deliberately. You pull out a specific memory, not a vague sense of I've done hard things before, a specific, vivid, detailed memory of a specific hard thing you did. The date, the feeling, the moment you almost quit and didn't. What was the exact thought that kept you going? Feel it. Replay it with full intensity. Your brain cannot fully distinguish between a vividly remembered experience and a current one. When you pull from that jar with specificity, you are not remembering past strength. You are activating it in real time. That's not a metaphor. That's neuroscience. And you've been leaving that resource completely untapped. I want you to do something right now, not later, not when the video ends. Right now, while you're watching this, think of the hardest thing you have ever done in your life. The hardest thing, the moment you were most certain you couldn't continue and continued anyway. Maybe it was physical. Maybe it was a loss. Maybe it was a fight you had with everything you had and still came up short. Whatever it was, go there. Put yourself back in that moment. Feel the weight of it. Feel the resistance. And then remember that you made it through. That memory is a weapon. And you have been leaving it in a drawer, disassembled, gathering dust, while you scroll and compare yourself to curated highlight reels of people who are just as scared as you are, but hiding it better. Stop being a victim of your own history. Start being a soldier of it. The people who break through to the other side of their potential, they are not more talented than you. They are not luckier than you. They are not built differently in any biological sense. They have simply made peace with the process of suffering and decided to use it. They have built a jar so full, so dense, so absolutely loaded with proof of their own capability that when the next hard thing comes, and it always comes, they do not wonder if they can handle it. They know, because they've handled harder. You can build that. Starting today, starting with the next hard thing that comes across your path, which, if you're honest, is probably something you've already been avoiding for weeks. That phone call you haven't made, that plan you haven't started, that habit you keep restarting, that conversation you've been running from. Go do it. Not tomorrow, not after you write the plan, not when the timing is better. Today. The cookie jar is built one brutal, unglamorous, unseen, unacknowledged decision at a time. Every step you take toward discomfort is a deposit. Every time you stay when you want to leave, you are making yourself harder to break. Every time you push past the governor, past the voice that tells you you've done enough, that you're tired, that you deserve rest, you are adding to a vault that no one can take from you, that no economic collapse, no personal failure, no health crisis, no relationship implosion can ever touch, because it lives in you. It is you. And here's what nobody tells you about the people who become truly callous, truly deeply hard in the mind and in the soul. They don't become cold. They don't become numb. They become unafraid. They walk through the world without the constant weight of what if I can't handle it dragging them down, because they have answered that question 1,000 times already. They can handle it. They know it. They've proven it in the dark, alone, with no applause. That is the life you are building toward. Not a life without pain, not a life without setback, a life where pain no longer has the power to make you stop. So when this video ends, and it will in about 60 seconds, you are going to do something hard. You are going to choose something today, right now, that your softer self would skip. And when you've done it, you put it in the jar. You file it, you own it, and you come back harder tomorrow. Because the world does not need more people who have read about mental toughness. The world needs more people who have earned it. Stay hard.